Welcome to the Mortgage and Mindset in Minutes podcast, and I'm your host, Tiffany Rose, where you'll get a little on mortgage and a lot on mindset. All right, today I'm like on cloud nine because I have our very own CEO, Mary Ann McGarry, here with us today, and I am so honored where she's going to share things today about mindset, her backstory, the guild culture, and we'll just have a conversation and discussion. And I'm going to selfishly pick her brain for so many things I want for tools to reach my success goals. And I'm just so excited. So thank you very much, Mary Ann.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
So just to put a human behind Mary Ann, because everyone's like, oh, who's the CEO of this company? What is she like? And I asked Bob Cooley, my amazing manager and mentor, hey, do you think Mary Ann would have this discussion with me? And he just raved about you and how wonderful you are, and sincere, and how brilliant you are. And that says a lot. I know Bob is a staple person at Guild, but still for you to make an impact on, little old us in Walnut Creek, and for everybody to speak so highly of you, that speaks volumes of who you are. So
thank you. Wow.
Art. So, okay, we're just going to touch on Guild really briefly, and then we'll kind of take it back. So how many employees do you manage, or how many do we have at Guild? I know it's, I think, over 4,000, maybe even more by now. And how many states are we in?
We're in 50 states. We're not in New York, and we have we're close to 5,000 employees.
Wow.
Yeah, we've grown tremendously. If you look back, and just when we we formed our management buyout at the end of 2007. So it was 12/31/07, and it was during the financial crisis. And we had 400 employees. We did $1 billion in originations, and we had $2 billion in our servicing portfolio. And today we're at $34 billion in originations and close to $70 billion in our servicing. So it's quite a growth over 13 years, but what I'm most proud of is the culture and people. We couldn't have done it without such amazing people.
And I agree. And you and I were just talking right before we started this, and I was just raving seriously about the culture and the support. And if you make a mistake, or if you want to do something that's, I would say outside of the box, it's okay. You get that support of like, hey, maybe you could try this, or, I just love it. And I felt like before my hands were tied places, and I really wanted to try things like this. I mean, this is really stepping outside of the box and interviewing yourself and getting this information. I just think it's so great that our company and our culture and is willing to do things like that. And I know you have a huge part of that. So,
well, we have such talent, and I've always thought the best way to improve your organization is to listen. And we have an entrepreneurial spirit and such creativity in the field and all over the company, actually, that it's important to listen and work together collectively so that you can really build a great foundation and grow, but still try new things and not be stagnant and fit in a box.
I absolutely agree. And I have so many questions about that, and we're going to get to that as well. So before we get into your career as it is now and Guild Mortgage as a whole, take me back to maybe like how you were raised. And because I know that there's some little success clues built in within there that got you to where you are now. So how were you raised?
I was raised, I have a sister that's 10 months older and a brother 8 years older. And he was my role model idol. But my mom was just so strong. And she's really the reason I am who I am and why I'm so driven and that I think I can do anything. Because you talk about somebody that really trusts you, believes in you, then you just feel like you can conquer the world. And so my mom, my entire life, told me I could do anything I wanted. All I had to do was try. And I believed it. I lived my life that way, and I'm really competitive. And we grew up in a very competitive family, and learning is important. With my mother, she was a teacher. She thought that was the key to anybody's success, is just knowledge. So that's how I attack everything. And I love people, I love learning, but if somebody tells me I can't do it, you're a woman, or, there'll never be a woman CEO. They'll never, you can't do that. You've got a family and you've got to do XYZ. It made me so competitive that I was going to show them. Just don't tell me I can't do it. If you do, I do it. So,
and you, like I said, you use it as fuel. And that's been actually one of the things that has helped me so much, is that when somebody says you shouldn't do that, or you can't, or that's too weird, or I just use it as energy and keep going.
Yeah.
And for you to be taught that at such a young age, I wish I learned that sooner in life rather than maybe the last 10 years. So you really have the edge getting that information and really being instilled in you so early in life. So, and it's by your mom, which is a powerful person in your life, but it's a woman also. So it really goes to show why you ended up where you ended up.
Yeah, she was amazing woman, and my best friend forever, and my strength and support. And I mean, so was my husband and my family, but there was something about my mother and the push and belief in women succeeding and how important it was. So she really did drive my success, I think.
And you said, I think I heard somewhere that she got a college degree. And I think, right. And she was born, if you don't mind giving me, I think she was born
1923.
23. Okay. I wanted to make sure. And
she lived to be 94.
Wow.
And she played bridge 4 times a week. She was in the Women's League of Voters, and she was, would donate her time. She was never sat still. She was, sharp until, she, at the very end, but it was just because she had a stroke, and then shortly thereafter she passed away. But she was a great mentor, but not just to me, but to my brother and my sister. And we were so fortunate to have her.
And I just listened to a piece about the echo of life, the echo that you can, start now, and 90 days from now, it's the echo that you started on, prior, but it's also what you pass down to your children, and the echo of life you pass down to your grandkids. And it sounds like she really, is still carrying on her legacy with you. So I love that.
She is. It's funny you said you didn't learn it till later. That hit a part of me, and I feel when people suffer a tragedy or and they have to band together as a family, you either see the best of what you can do, or the worst. And my father got very ill when I was young. We were very wealthy, went to dirt poor. My mom worked 5 jobs, never said about, just went forward, just took it like, well, this is what you do. He's sick, don't know what it is, we'll get through this. And that was her attitude. So you learn that way. She was never a victim, and I've never been a victim, no matter what happens, right or wrong. I think it's important that you just deal with what you have, and everything works out. You just have to believe in yourself and be confident, and it'll work out.
And that's all music to my ears, because that's what I like write down, or in my mantras and everything. And I just say it, especially, being empowered by tragedies that happen in your life, unfortunately, not becoming a victim. So I, again, love all of that. So I know that it's very rare that people say, I'm going to grow up and be a mortgage lender. I know I certainly did that. By the grace of God, seriously, this awesome mentor brought me into the business. But I'm sure you didn't necessarily say that, and you went to college for something a little bit different, right?
I did. I always wanted to own my own business, but I decided that it would be smart to go into accounting as a CPA and work for one of the big 8 at the time. Now I think they have 4. So I became a CPA, worked at KPMG. Then it was Pete Marwick. But what I want to do is learn about all types of businesses, and in that decide which business I would go into, hopefully owning my own business. Yes. So Guild Mortgage was a client of ours, and that's how I was introduced to the company. And I've been here 38 years.
And I heard that. Bob told me that. I didn't realize how long you had been with the
It's a long
company.
time, but so you can't ask my age.
Oh my gosh. I know I say, oh, I've been in the business like 23 years. I'm like, wait, that's starting to sound like so long, but I don't. So what do you think about somebody who maybe like bounces around companies versus what you did? You just stuck with it through thick and thin. So what's
Well,
the advice you have for people that like to bounce around? They think that something's going to be different somewhere else.
it might be. I thought I'd always move from company to company. I didn't think I was going to stay, but I was at a company where I was able to have opportunity. Every time I got a little bored, I was able to do something else. So I was fortunate. I started in internal audit, and within a couple of years, 3 years, I was promoted to senior vice president and ran servicing and IT. And then I became the CFO, and so forth. I just kept getting challenged. So I think it's fine if you go from company to company if you need more challenge. So if a
Mhm.
company isn't seeing your talents or helping lift you up, then I don't think there's anything wrong with
Mhm.
moving.
As long as it sounds like, as long as you're aware, like conscious of why you're doing it, and that it is truly a bigger opportunity, right? Because I had loan officers that I've managed or worked with, and it's like every 3 months they're a different company. I'm like, no, I don't think it's the company.
I think you need to try to make it work
Mhm.
and try to understand your weaknesses and strengths, and then find a mentor, a coach, find somebody that can help you succeed and keep succeeding, and then I that's the way to work. So, learn as much as you can. So again, my mother was a teacher, and she, had this thirst for knowledge all the time. And she really pushed it in us. So if I'm at a company and I don't like the company, I'm going to learn as much as I can. And then you just look for an opportunity, but don't just take the first thing. Just be careful and make sure it's what you want in your career path. And, try to make sure that, ask the company, don't underestimate what they think about you. And I would use your skills to, try to move up and say, what do I need to do to move ahead? And don't be shy. Be
Is that what you
confident.
did? Did you kind of just say, what's next? What do I have to do to get to the next level?
Um, I pretty much saw the opportunity and just kept going for it. And I ended up reporting directly to the owner. So he just kept putting me in different jobs.
So I was laughing this morning because I'm like, I wonder if she wakes up, because you are the CEO of Guild Mortgage, like you said, like 5,000 employees, 50 states. Do you wake up some mornings and go, I'm the CEO of Guild Mortgage? Or do you feel like you kind of grew with it and you're just used to it? Or do you wake up sometimes and go, oh my gosh, I have so much on my shoulders. I'm the CEO, not just of Guild Mortgage, but a major mortgage company. So what do you feel like when you get to work or you wake up in the morning?
Oh, I just love the people I work with. I have the best executive team in the world. I'm excited to come to work every day. I love it. I hate COVID when you couldn't see everyone and be around and just make things happen. I love collaboration. I love coming up with ideas.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wake up or I just stop for a minute and I pinch myself like, wow, I'm not surprised I'm a CEO of a company, but I'm more proud of the culture and the people. So like you, when I meet you and I see you and you're part of Guild and you love it, and
Yeah.
that's what I live for, or is that reward is more important to me than anything else. And it is fun being the CEO of a public company, and there's challenges with it as well, but I love it. But I'm so proud of what we've accomplished as a company together that it's fun to brag, and
Yeah.
it's, I'm proud of it. And I know, and I'm confident in our success and our continued success into the future. So, sometimes I'll pinch myself more so that we've got this great talent here at Guild, and I've watched it grow, and
Yeah.
that's been really fun and a
You
little bit
definitely,
surreal.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I'm like, just wake up and you're like, I accomplished my goals. I'm a CEO. So
I know.
I wanted to know, like, how does that feel? Because I want to get there. I always tell myself, like, in 10 years from now, I want to be on a private jet that I can easily afford to go on vacations. And I don't know whether it's owning or chartering one or what it is, but it's not to show off. It's to tell myself that I achieved that goal, that I did what I set out to do. And for me, that's like a tangible kind of like reward. And for some reason, one day I'm like, I think I was watching the Kardashians. People were probably like, I was, and they were hopping on a private jet. I'm like, I'm smart enough. I'm good enough. I can do this with enough hard work and with my goals that I've set out for myself. I can do it. So I kind of just jokingly wrote it down. But now I'm thinking, no, I'm going to keep pushing towards that. And you're
Yeah, if
giving
it's
me
a
that
vision and you see it, it'll
inspiration.
happen. They say
Yeah.
that a lot of times. If you say subconsciously, if you see yourself in a certain role, or whether it's a plane or a BMW or something that for you is just one of your bucket list items,
Yeah.
I think it'll happen.
Yeah. Hence the vision boards. I have a vision board and got lots of guild mortgage stuff all over it. So,
That's
you know,
great.
I was looking back and I was thinking, oh my gosh, she became the CEO, correct me if I'm wrong, like right before the crash, right, of 2008.
Oh, yeah.
So how did that feel? Can you just give us like some of the, I don't want to say highlights, because I was in the business during that time and I short sold houses that I owned and had to move my family and was trying to,
Oh,
I had 8 houses, some of them on NAGAM loans. And, I was just talking to somebody else in another interview and they said, anybody who thinks like mortgage lenders are like bad people, they weren't bad people. It was
no.
misunderstanding of the loans that were being offered. We didn't dream up these things, but it was a really hard time. But at the same time, I kind of like chuckled when I heard when you became CEO, because you were probably like, are you kidding me right now? I have to thank
Well,
you.
no, actually, it was even before that. So in the
Mhm,
middle of 2007, we'd been looking for a partner for a few years,
mhm.
and nobody knew about it. And we hadn't told anyone. It's just my partner Terry and I. And we had a few offers, and we went with the McCarthy Group. Great people. And then the crisis started, where they weren't buying loans. I don't know if you ever if you remember, there were just a little companies that had unique products, and they started going away.
Yeah,
And
quickly.
we were constantly managing our pipeline. So I remember going into, we just have to save this. And I wasn't even thinking about the partnership. They didn't put it on hold. We kept doing it. But I was saying, they're not going to buy us if something bad happens to our company. So we managed through the crisis, and they actually liked us more after they saw us manage through the crisis. But the best thing about our company and the people is we're very solution oriented. So we get in a room, and now this is a challenge, right? It's a big
Yeah.
challenge. What do? We got to, who do we sell to? We got to call these people. We got to look, we got to repackage, we got to move it over here. We can't have 7 million or whatever we had in our pipeline. And we really came out unscathed. We did a great job. And then we took advantage of the dislocation in the market. And in 08, we just grew. We just started, all the companies that were started to go out of business. We attracted the talent. We brought in Barry Horn, and we did an acquisition, and we brought in a lot of people from great companies that were too leveraged, and they just didn't make it, and their people needed a home, and we were there. And we had Mortgage Banking Foundation at Guild, FHA, VA, conventional. So we didn't really get into a lot of the subprime or the alternative products, the alt A's, but we did them, but we didn't do many of them that much. We weren't very good at it. So we just grew from there, and we've grown exponentially and profitably ever since our management buyout. So it was a risk for them to buy us, and at that moment in the financial world. So they've been great partners.
Well, and you got lucky, because it really did start happening overnight. I remember I had a baby October 2007, And I got out of the hospital, got home, and somebody said, hey, NAGAM loans are going away. And some of the banks were going under, and it was happening quick. And I thought, well, what do you mean NAGAM loan? But we all have NAGAM loans, and that's what we do. We put out a bunch of mailers and we get a bunch of clients and do these loans. And it was like unfathomable for me to not have that on our like rate sheets or as a product. And they literally by, I think like January 2008, it started to go downhill really quick. That movie, The Big Short, have you seen that? Yeah. So a lot of it is true. I mean, they weren't making up things like that. I had clients that were in a lot of those, scenarios, and it was a very interesting time. So I love that you share, what your experience was through that, because it was a pretty interesting time, me owning real estate and being in the lending business as well. It was tough, but I sure did learn from it. I'm such a better loan agent because of it.
That's great. Did you recreate yourself, or how did you handle it?
Well, that's why I kind of asked you before, like, what do you think about bouncing around, companies and things? I had a lot of friends that got out of the business, but I was like, Tiff, no, you're sticking this out. You're deeply invested, and this is my career now. So I learned FHA. FHA was not even a thing then. And I learned realtors. I think there was a like down payment.
That's because you're a baby. It was a thing for us because we started, we've had it since 1960. So
okay. I think like I'm dating myself now, but I was, like 25, 26, I don't know, something like that. Then during like I think I was 29 actually, because I just had a baby. But that was the first time I had learned that. But I just hunkered down and I informed myself, connected with my realtors, and I weathered the storm. But there was times where I was going to get out of the business, but then I'm like, well, what am I going to do? I have no choice.
And you're good at it. Well, you're a natural salesperson, so you're going to be good at anything you do.
Oh gosh, I hope so. I want to serve as many homeowners as I can. That's my goal for 2022, and kind of change my mindset on making it, like I said, the private jet isn't because I want the private jet. It's because that would mean that I served as many people as possible. And once I changed my mindset on that and kind of got used to dealing with like confrontation isn't confrontation kind of thing. You have to call a client and say like, hey, your loans declined. I was so scared of doing it back then because all the loans like sailed through. I mean, you would never get a suspense or a decline back then, around 2007 or 6. So it really grew me as a person and stuck with it. And I just become, like I said, better probably person too, and loan agent. But
and connect with people and like first time home buyers. And, when they're really, some of them are tough loans and you have to handhold them. And sometimes they're not ready for a home, but you can find the right product. You can help guide them. And then, you've got a client for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was, I'm still working through it actually, so I want to hear your words of wisdom on it, is coming through like as your authentic self. I know one of my accountability coaches last year said, Tiff, you're so fun on your personal Facebook. And then you put these videos out and you kind of come off as like stuffy, like where's that girl over there that's so fun? I'm like, well, I want to stay professional. And she's like, well, you can still stay professional, but still be your fun, normal Tiff. So how did you, over the years, stay true to your authentic self?
Well, in person with people, it was easy. It's very hard. I think I find video and you get nervous and you want to make sure you don't say something that you should, and that you look professional, you act professional. And sometimes when you're one-on-one with people or in a small group, then you don't have to be as stiff. And I think, not that you have to be, but I think that's a hard balance for all of us.
It is what it is.
When you get to this level and you're trying to meet people and have them understand your personality, your brand, and how you will take care of them, and your goals and your values. So your values are important, but you can't really do that through, it's not as easy to do it through TV or video, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Some people are great at it.
Some people are. I'm like, they just practice, or, I just keep pushing forward. And I have looked back at my videos from like 4 or 5 years ago, and I was like, I can't even rewatch them but now I'm starting to be able to rewatch them. I'm like, okay.
Well, you
I
seem
think
like a natural to
I'm
me.
getting a little bit better. So thank you. But that is a great point. I mean, being your authentic self, you, of course, you want to always be the best you can be, but you don't necessarily have to be wild and crazy and silly. You just have to kind of tailor it to the situation that you're in. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, you adapt to whatever the moment is.
Yeah. And that's very good advice. So everybody always says like, so how's the market, or like very general questions. Is there anything that you can or want to share about just like maybe what's to come, or any exciting stuff, or anything, any projects, anything we need to know?
I'm really proud about us winning the #1 as JD Power in originations. That was a great reward for our goal of creating customers for life.
Mhm.
And having the right blend of technology and human touch and
Mhm.
advice. So it's not, we want the best and fastest technology out there, and we keep enhancing it and investing in our platform, but we don't want to lose that human interaction with our customers, because that's what makes us unique. I think we have the technology of competitive with anyone digitally, but the difference is we insert ourselves. And we serve our customers the way they want to be served. So if they want you to handhold them and do the application for them, you do it. If they want you to hardly talk to you except when they want to lock in the rate, they can do that. And so there's just so many different types of people that we don't put them in a box. And I think that's a key element of our success. Going forward, I think rates are going to go up from the MBA, Fannie Mae, and Freddie Mac. That's how we look. But we just try to work in the environment of today, and we don't try to predict what's going to happen, but we're prepared for either way. And so that we can continue to serve our customers. And we've always been purchase focused. So for us, when rates rise, we're positioned well because that's our expertise. We're not just, getting widgets through as fast as we can and helping customers, but it's a different model. We're about helping people get into homes and then also stay in the homes. So with our servicing that complements our originations, we partner with the loan officer and just take care of the customer all the way through till their next transaction. And that is what I'm happy to see, is us put people in homes, but more importantly, do everything we can to keep them in their homes.
Yeah. And I do feel like there's an opportunity, a good deal, something that you can do to better yourself and your family in any market. I mean, if you think back to
Absolutely.
rates being, 10, 11, 12%, that was just normal, but people still bought homes and made it work. And so I think that I can help anybody in any market make it work and just come up with a plan. That's actually what I love doing. I know some of my clients sometimes I'll go, I'm so sorry, I just have one more question. I'm like, no, I love doing this. I love, like, tell me what your 6-month plan is, what your 5-year plan. Well, maybe I want to, get some equity out and buy a investment property. I'm like, okay, what does that look like? What area? Let's go online and see what it rents for. And it's fun for me.
Yeah,
and I
definitely.
Like, don't be afraid of the market changes and the ups and downs, because it's going to happen. And none of us really know, unless, we had a crystal ball, we'd be retired somewhere, maybe, volunteering somewhere.
Or maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not, maybe not. And so I do agree with what you're saying. And I wanted to ask, so 2 more things. So is there anything that you're like, Tiff, this is my #1 thing that I delegate? Like, out of all the things I love, what's the one thing? Like, for me personally, on my personal life, I DoorDash like too much, actually, because I don't have time to cook and I'm not a good cook. So what are one of those things that you're like, I don't have time in my day and I have to delegate that?
Well, I delegate a lot because my people are so great. And
you have to at your level, obviously.
yeah, I multitask. I like to cook. So
Oh,
I
you
try to cook
do?
as much as I do. I'm not a gourmet cook. I don't think I'm a great cook, but I do like it. I don't
Yeah.
love to bake, but my daughter-in-law does, and she's the best. So I like to cook and entertain and with my family, get it, because we have a big family, and that's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
And I'll delegate pieces because they like to do it. So now I'm kind of handing it over to next generation, but
You sound
it's
like you're very balanced.
I
And it's good.
try.
Yeah, I mean, you always think someone, and everybody handles stress and, busy, a full schedule, a full life, I should say, differently, but I do get like the energy that you just feel very balanced. And
Well,
that's great.
I'm not sure I'm very balanced. Shayla told me one year, like she was so into being balanced. I was like, I have to get coached by her because I'm not as
Did she
balanced
pull out
as,
the wheel
yeah.
of life? And okay, I've done that with
As I
her.
got
Yes.
older, I became more balanced. But I think when I was younger, when I first had twins, I have 4 kids, 4 boys, and they're just amazing. When I would walk in that door, they balanced me because
You have to shut it
you're
down.
not thinking of work. You're working with your kids, and they're fun, and you're just so it balances you without even trying. Even though you're still thinking about work at times, you can go home and you have to be very productive because you've got soccer games on the weekend or football games or something with your children. But, I would always squeeze in and plan if I needed to get something done on the weekend. I would make sure I'd get it done, but I never sacrificed my kids to do that. I would just stay up late or get up really, really early. But I seem to get it both of it done. So
You're making it work, and it just is a testament of why you are who you are, and you have a big smile on your face no matter what. I mean, it really, I can sense that. So I love it. And I'm just so proud to be a part of Guild Mortgage, and I can't wait to keep going. And now we hope I got, my guild
we're
stuff,
proud of you.
blue and yellow and all that. So I'm not going anywhere.
Well, you're in a great area. You've been very successful, and I'm sure you'll just continue to be successful. And I'm glad you chose Guild to do it.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, do you have, before we leave, do you have any, like a famous quote that you love, inspirational quote, words of wisdom, anything that you want to share?
Let's see. Sure. Collectively, we're geniuses. Individually, we're idiots.
I love that.
Yep, teamwork.
Well said. Well, thank you so much, Mary Ann. I know that you have a full life, full schedule, and I just appreciate you so much. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And it was a pleasure.